Hello, I'm sorry I can't be with you today. I've got a good excuse though. I'm with some young people doing some story and play activities with them. I've been asked to talk a bit about young people and storytelling, and I've done a bit of work on that, so I'll share my ideas. In many ways we will all know the powerful effect that storytelling has on all of us, and young people in particular. Its connection to literacy, it's a form of literacy, development of self-esteem, the sense of place, communication skills, development of vocabulary. All this kind of stuff is really powerful and valuable stuff. But for me, one of the main sad things about society, about our society, about our country, is the fact that it is estimated that 1/3 of young people, 1 in 3, kind of grow up without a secure attachment. Now, what that means is that they grow up without that sense of having someone there for whom they can share and engage with in terms of their emotions and their anxieties and their fears. So when they're going through life, that support, that empathetic space, which gives them a sense of grounding and understanding, and enables them to soothe themselves when they're younger and kind of understand things as they grow over, and develops trust in other people and the ability to engage in relationships with other people. If this is true, if 1 in 3 don't have that, that has serious implications, not just for the youngsters themselves, but for society. This is where, for me, storytelling with young people comes in and is a powerful tool, is a powerful space that can be provided for youngsters who have lacked that empathetic space to explore their lives, to explore the things that have gone in their lives, their feelings, their fears, and their anxieties, as I say. And the metaphor of story can do that for these young people, to some extent, anyway. And that, I think, is one of the great challenges of traditional storytellers, to bring our art of traditional storytelling to these youngsters, because that concept, that idea of traditional storytelling, of eye to eye, mind to mind, heart to heart, eye to eye, soul to soul, really does create almost that substitute space for the lack of attachment that the youngsters have felt, and it can provide them with a kind of growing sense of who they are, and a powerful tool for resilience. And it's one of the questions is how do we reach these young people? How do we identify them, and how do we reach them? And that's, I think, one question for discussion. And the second question for discussion would be, how therefore do we then use our art in traditional storytelling to facilitate this engagement and to create this space in which metaphor can be used to enhance the benefits of attachment, to create a process of attachment that these young people kind of have missed out on to some extent. Storytelling's great in doing that, and we will all have examples of it. One young girl I worked with recently, coming up to 6, she was experiencing problems at school, was really not enjoying it. People wondered if it was bullying. It kind of transpired that she was afraid of failing, and through story this became evident that she was afraid to fail. And I discovered that one of her favourite movies was Dirty Dancing, not one of my favourites, I have to say. And I watched it, and I thought, well, okay, there's a great story here, It's about a young girl who comes to a holiday camp and she meets a man, and it's kind of romantic. This title isn't as serious as it's not really about Dirty Dancing. It's about her falling in love with him, but learning how to dance. And in the process of that, she fails, she falls, she stumbles, she trips up, she makes mistakes. But in the narrative of that particular film is the truth that failure is the paving stone of success. And so I constructed a story based on Dirty Dancing, and we told it to this young girl, and she immediately recognised it and engaged and could make the connections with her own life and with her own fears at school, and through the metaphor of story was able to understand why she felt the way she did and make sense of it and then take action. It's that kind of left and right brain engagement that storytelling powerfully assists, where the right brain of kind of emotions and anxieties and the feelings is connected to the left brain, which then can create a narrative that provides understanding for those feelings and then an understanding of how you move on from it. That's resilience, that's attachment, and without that we can't really function in society very, very well. And to provide youngsters who lack the attachment from parents or those around them, and to provide stories to those youngsters, it's a powerful kind of gift to the youngsters by using their own creative imagination and the process of storytelling to create the strengths of attachment to these youngsters. And so for me these are the key reasons why youngsters should be telling stories, because listening is part of it, but then engaging as tellers also puts them in the driving seat of creative production, and they can then form the world based on their experiences and bring in their anxieties and learn to use metaphor as well to explain how they feel, and within the context of storytelling, that empathetic, that kind of broad understanding of how we function as humans is explored, and what is more powerful than that. So that's my thoughts on young people and storytelling. Very late, my wee one's sleeping, and I'm really sad that I can't be with you, but not that sad, because I'm going to be with some really interesting young folk and listening to their stories, which are maybe better than yours. Who knows?